Yo, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Star Wars, a continuation video of our Disney announcement series here. I know you guys have been dying to hear my thoughts, so I want to make sure I get those out there for you. We're going to go through 10 Star Wars shows that were announced, really 9 as one is included. You're warned now, there will be spoilers here as some of this stuff is interrelated and other things have happened already that I want to talk about. So you have been warned. Now's your time to bail. Otherwise, come with us and let's chat. All right, yo, let's dig in. Again, there's going to be some spoilers here, so let's jump right in, y'all. So let's talk about the first thing that was talked about when it comes to Star Wars, and that is The Mandalorian. We are on season 2 of The Mandalorian, and the show's been good, y'all. We've seen a lot of things. Baby Yoda became a sensation on the internet, and but since then, we've known a lot. We've seen Baby Yoda grow. We've given him a name. Grogu is his name. And we've also seen his potential within the Force and the dark side of the Force as he Force choked some stormtroopers, which was pretty crazy. But we now know, what Gideon is after. And we also know that, Grogu has potential to go either way. Very powerful in the Force, but, that's where it's at. We also learned Boba Fett is alive and well, not really an antagonist now. He's helping out our, Mando in his mission to get through the galaxy, trying to deliver this kid to where he needs to go. And, last but not least, the best season so far, the best chapter in this season was chapter 13, The Jedi, where we finally see Ahsoka. Now, this was a big deal for me, more so than a lot of other people that I know that watch this show for a couple reasons. The first one is Star Wars The Clone Wars, the animated series. So if you have Disney Plus, which I'm sure you do if you're watching this video, and you haven't checked out the series, it's a cartoon, but you definitely need to check it out. So those that have watched it or read about it or, been in any of the outside of just TV show world, you were excited about this moment. You were excited about seeing Ahsoka for the first time in live action. You were excited that Rosario Dawson got to play the role as she was fan casted into it. And the directors and everyone else agreed she was the right choice, and she killed it, y'all. It was amazing. But if you didn't watch it, I think you should definitely go check it out. You need to go see The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Both of these series tie kind of into what The Mandalorian is doing. And now we know for sure, based on some of the other shows that are being announced that we'll cover here in a second, we're going to see more of these characters as we go. So seeing Ahsoka was super huge for me, and anyone else that was a fan of the cartoon or animated series. If you didn't watch it, it might not have hit as hard for you. I know you probably enjoyed dual, lightsabers and the fight that she had, but you definitely weren't as invested. So I for sure urge you to watch this. If you have children, it's a no-brainer. You should definitely watch it. No-brainer. You should definitely watch it with your kids. If you don't, I don't have any kids. I still watched it and thought it was an amazing show. In the Clone Wars, you see a lot of Anakin's descent into the dark side that we didn't really get to see in the movies for the most part between episode 2 and 3. A lot of what's going on and the influences that he's getting and just his rage and his anger as it's developing, which is pretty cool. Star Wars Rebels is set after the Clone Wars anime or, show. And it's about a different character. We'll go into it a little bit in one of these other sections, but you see an adult Ahsoka on here. So lots and lots of tie-ins and super excitement from The Mandalorian. I think this season's been really cool. A few episodes from Boba Fett coming out. I'm sure many of you Star Wars heads freaked out when you seen them. When he got his armor back, I'm sure for me it was the Ahsoka moment, or seeing Grogu on the temple using the Force or communicating, calling out. So lots of cool stuff on The Mandalorian, but they basically confirmed season 3 is on the way. That was the first thing they talked about, which leads directly into the next 2 items that I want to talk about. Number 1 is Rangers of the New Republic. So we have seen, we know for sure that The Mandalorian is set about 5 years after the second Death Star was destroyed. And the New Republic is the ruling government now. The Empire has fallen, you know. And what we've seen so far is the New Republic has some sort of police force. We've seen it in the X-1 pilots in a couple episodes. We've seen a marshal, you know, Cobb Vanth as a marshal. And we've also seen Cara Dune turn into a marshal in the most recent episode of The Mandalorian. So what can the show be about? I mean, I imagine it's going to be those 2 people. I know a lot of folks loved Cobb Vanth's character in using, you know, Boba Fett's armor, but they liked how he portrayed it. So I'm sure him and Cara are going to do something. I don't know. The term Rangers for me implies that it's not going to be just on planet. They're going to be doing something, some type of interplanetary policing or police force. But we'll check it out. I'm not super excited about this. I don't know what it can possibly be or what they'll hunt down. End of the day, it's another show though. I'll check it out. I'll give it a chance, and it's going to tie into The Mandalorian. Same timeline. It's going to use some of the same characters, so at some point we're going to have a crossover. So that leads me to the show I'm most excited about, and that's Ahsoka. So if you can tell when I first started this video, or when we started talking about The Mandalorian, Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters. She's a beast. Watching her go from a young Padawan into what we've seen in The Mandalorian was super awesome. Rosario killed it. At the end of the day, I think if you need to watch the show, obviously. The anime will help you, or the animated series is going to help you understand who she is, why you should care. Do I think it's absolutely necessary to watch before watching her show when it comes out? I don't know, maybe not. But personally, I think you should, especially if she's going to be hunting down Grand Admiral Thrawn as well. So you got to, I mean, he's outside of just the TV shows and the animated series. But if you're not super into Star Wars, it'll do you some good to check that out. As well as finding out what happened to Ezra and Sabine as adults. What are they doing now? They are from Star Wars Rebels, which is the follow-up to the Clone Wars, another animated series. You grow, Ezra is Force sensitive. Sabine is another character from Mandalore. So another Mandalorian. And also, what else is going to happen is Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan going to be in this? I mean, that episode was dope. Sasha Banks was in it. A lot of cool stuff happened with the Mandalorians there, and, you know, her quest to get back to the throne. That could be a part of that show as well. Is Ahsoka going to help with that, since they know each other? They, you know, she sent Mando to Ahsoka to figure this out. So they clearly have done some stuff recently where she knows she was at. But I cannot wait for Ahsoka. I think it's going to be super dope. I mean, she's not really a Jedi, right? The Jedi are kind of gone. So how does that play out? What type of rules is she going to continue to bend? Because she is a rule bender based on Anakin showing her. He's, you know, the ultimate rule bender that led him to the dark side. But we'll check that out and see what that looks like. But super excited for Ahsoka. That's going to be a cool series. Hope you guys are too. Which leads us to, you know, moving on to another spinoff from that animated series. If you can tell, there's a lot of information and a lot of cool stuff that came from that. But The Bad Batch is coming. That's another animated series. It's a spinoff from the Clone Wars. It's going to come from Dave Filoni. And what can I say? They were introduced into the last season of the Clone Wars, as just a bad batch of clones. So basically they weren't going to cut it, you know, in the academy. And they started figuring out how to work together and use their different, I guess, I want to call them abilities, but I guess maybe they would be abilities, to help each other out. And they become an elite squadron. You know, one stronger than the rest. He's bigger. One can see further. So just different attributes that increased as they went through. But just unique sets, makes them more individual. You care them. I mean, you care about them more. They're not your typical clones like the stormtroopers are. They have a personality, which is something that the show did really good of. You know, Rex on the show, if you've watched it before, you know what I'm talking about, Captain Rex. That helped a lot too. But we'll see what the Bad Batch ends up being about. What are they doing? Where are they going? If it's like the Clone Wars, which it should be, same group of people making it, it'll be a pretty good show. So we'll check that out as well. Not much more to say there. This next one I want to talk about is a spin-off, or I guess I'm going to keep saying spin-off because it's really what it ends up being. It's a spin-off of Rogue One, which is one of the better Star Wars Disney movies that they've made. They have a real short trailer, doesn't reveal the plot or anything, but basically everything I did for the Rebellion. It's going to be an original series, comes out in 2020, and there's not much known about it other than it's going to be 12 episodes long. They started filming it about 2 weeks ago, which means they already know what's going on, and we should see it relatively soon. But not much more information on that other than Diego Luna is going to be reprising his role as Cassian Andor. Did a good job in Rogue One. I can see that being pretty successful. Just checking out what that looks like. But 2021, the year for Star Wars, another series coming out here. So moving on, we're going to talk about a Droid Story. So another animated series is going to be coming out. It's called A Droid Story. Disney wouldn't be doing their job well if they didn't create another cute, lovable merchandise selling either droid or animal. So they're going to be having a story, an original story about a new hero, is what they're calling it. And I believe it says it's going to introduce a new hero that will be guided by some old friends. CP3O and R2-D2 are going to guide our new hero in this series. So we'll see what it looks like, what it ends up being, what they end up doing. I can see a whole lot of like Wall-E moments with these droids outside of C3PO giving some commentary, but we'll see what that looks like. I think it'll be cool. The next thing in line is Star Wars Visions. So this I'm kind of iffy about. Star Wars Visions is going to be an original series of short films, but they're going to be anime. So Disney's tried to do anime before with some of the Marvel stuff. They did X-Men anime, which is actually hitting Netflix soon, I think this week. Wolverine anime and a couple others. They weren't received well by fans or critics alike. But let's see, maybe Star Wars is different. There's going to be a series of just original short stories. So we'll, each episode probably won't connect to the next. But we'll see what that looks like as far as, I'm sure the animation will be cool. But we'll see what the stories look like, and not much more outside of that. Another story coming is Star Wars Lando. So Lando's always been one of my favorite characters. Just his personality and the way that he does things. He's a gambler too. Just an awesome character. Whether it was a seasoned, vet that helped Han and Leia escape, or if it was Danny Glover's portrayal in the solo flick. Either way, old Lando, young Lando, doesn't matter. He's a good character. And I think there's a lot to explore there. So I think it's going to make for some interesting television just based on his personality and all the stuff that he gets into. So the real question now is, who is going to be the character? Are we going to see Billy D. Williams or Danny Glover reprise their role? Will it be both of them? I mean, I can see something where an old Lando is telling a story about his escapades and things that he did, and we cut back to the past and see Danny Glover getting it in and doing what he needs to be doing and telling the story. So I can see something like that happening. You never know. I know for sure it would make sense for Danny Glover to do it, but end of the day, we'll see where those rides take them, where they're going to go. I think the character is super interesting, so there's a lot to tell there that they want to do. Next up is the Acolyte. Now, this show is going to be dope. This has Dark Side written all over it. So just to tell you exactly what it is, or what the official description of the show is a mystery thriller that will take the audience into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. This is gonna be dope. So the High Republic, in February, Disney or Lucasfilms announced a series of comic books and stories and novels of the High Republic, kind of showing what that looked like at the height of the Jedi Order's powers. This is going to take about 200 years before A Phantom Menace. So before Episode 1, 200 years. It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be cool. Who are we going to see? I mean, there's different things. Twitter went wild with speculation on this. Are we going to see Darth Plagueis or even his master? What does that look like? What type of shadowy figures, or as the dark side is coming into power, who else is around? How do they betray each other? Because that's going to, no doubt going to happen. This is coming from, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Leslie Headland, creator of Russian Doll, is going to basically take everything for this show, from writing it, producing it, being the showrunner, basically from scratch. So I'm kind of excited to see what this looks like. And we'll see the Acolyte. That's my second in line after Ahsoka, just because of the connection. But I'm more Sith than Jedi anyway, so the Acolyte will probably end up being my favorite show. And then last but not least, we want to talk about a show that we knew was going to come, and that is ObiWan. We knew Ewan McGregor was going to come back as Obi-Wan. But one thing we found out last week is that Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader. So, this guy didn't really do anything after he did Anakin Skywalker and the movies ended. We're not really, I'm sure there's stories out there as to why, but I think it's pretty cool that they're bringing back a lot of people that have had something to do with either the old movies or the animated series, voice actors, all kinds of stuff. But him reprising his role is actually pretty cool. I want to see what that dynamic looks like. This is going to take place between episode 3 and 4. So Anakin has already become Darth Vader. What he considers a betrayal, from Obi-Wan and Padme, her death, how's that affecting him? I'm sure we're not going to see him all the time, but that relationship between, Obi-Wan and Anakin has to be established. They're saying it's going to be a 6-episode series, about an hour long. So we're basically getting, 2 or 3 movies, just spaced out on a weekly release. We'll see what that looks like. So that's going to be pretty cool. The possibility of who else can be on there within the timeline, within that, episode 3 to episode 4 timeline is pretty cool. Ahsoka can be in there. We already know by then she has already left. She quit being a Jedi. Well, they expelled her, but she decided not to come back. So we can see her as an adult. We can see maybe something that happens with the children. Obi-Wan should be watching over Luke, right? What's going on with a young Luke? And just all the possibilities between following Darth Vader for a little bit in his early, Darth Vader years. I know I don't read many of the comics or even the novels. I know some of you guys are super into this stuff. But at the end of the day, this show is probably going to be the main show for them. I don't expect any crossover shows with this, just based on the timeline. There shouldn't be, maybe just Ahsoka, probably. But outside of that, I don't expect anyone else popping in, not Mando, none of that. It should kind of be off to the side. But Disney brought the smoke yet again. Star Wars universe is going down. It's going to be pretty great. And then last but not least, they did mention another movie. So we are looking at Star Wars Squadron. That should be cool. The video game came out not too long ago for $40. You can't buy a game worth $40. That's probably funner than that game. You guys should check it out. The movie's not going to be based on the game, but it is going to take inspiration from it. So that should be a really cool movie. So Rogue Squadron, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, is going to be coming from Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins. I watched her teaser trailer, which was pretty cool. Her just suiting up in a flight suit, but she's all in, guys. Her dad used to be a fighter pilot who actually died in battle, I believe. But she's been looking for a movie about fighter pilots that she can really bring to life, and she's found it. So she's going to be directing this movie, and I'm sure it has a lot to say with all the sequences and things like that. When people are emotionally invested in projects, you see what can happen, how awesome it can be. So I'm pretty excited about Rogue Squadron to see what that looks like. And they also briefly mentioned a project that's currently not titled by Taika Waititi. I think I butchered his name. The director from Thor is going to be making his Star Wars movie debut. That is in development right now. They mentioned it briefly in May, mentioned it again on the call. But that's it, guys. I'm super curious. What are you guys the most excited about? As you can tell, for me, it's Ahsoka and the Acolyte. Outside of that, everything else should be cool. I'm looking forward to crossovers between the Mandalorian, the New Republic, and Ahsoka. All the animated series are cool. We'll check out, Star Wars Visions and what anime can look like in the Star Wars universe. And outside of that, super excited. Great time to be a Star Wars fan. I know some of you guys will probably be thinking about fatigue and how much is too much. But if Disney's proved anything, we've been watching Marvel movies for the past 15 years or so now, and I don't think that's ending anytime soon, and it keeps getting better. So we should be in good hands. We'll see what this ends up being like. I know comic book fans, Star Wars fans are pretty similar, all one and the same for the most part. So hopefully they stay true to what we want, what you guys like. And if not, then we'll see. Outside of that, tell me your comments. Make sure you like, you subscribe, follow all of our social medias. This is Lobo Malo NR streaming on Facebook. Make sure you check that out and give me a follow there. All my video game streaming is done through Facebook. And just nerd related here, bringing you some comments on some of the latest news. We are going to be doing another video on the Marvel side of things, as they too mentioned 10 TV shows that are coming to this Disney Plus, as well as some movies that were mentioned. So we'll dig a little deeper into that. But I'm curious, what do you think? What show are you most excited about? Leave it in the comments. Let's have a healthy discussion. Let me know if you have any ideas or things you want to see in future videos. Super down. Marvel video coming in the next 2 days or so. Hopefully we can put that on the page. Outside of that, thanks for watching, guys. Deuces.